Alright, today all we are doing is basically finding the least common denominator. Y'all have learned this before, it's been a while. I don't know how old y'all were when you learned it, but a lot younger. So we're gonna refresh on it today. LCD, your least common denominator. Okay, it is the smallest number that can be a common denominator for a set of fractions. In other words, they're the least common multiple of the denominators. Okay, so let's take a look at what that means. If I had the two fractions, 2/8 and 5/6, my denominators are the ones on bottom, so 8 and 6, okay? What I want to do is I want to figure out the least common denominator for 8 and 6, or in other words, their least common multiple, okay? So the smallest number that I could make both of these multiply into so that I could get a common denominator for both fractions. So if I list out some of the multiples of 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. Okay, those are a few of the multiples of 6. Multiples meaning 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 6 is 12, 3 times 6 is 18, and so on. For 8, I'm going to go until I get one of these numbers, or if I don't get one of those numbers, I'll have to keep going for both, right? So 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16. So far, we don't have a common one. 3 times 8 is 24, and now we have a least common multiple, or in other words, this would be our least common denominator. This is the smallest number that we can multiply 8 and get this number and 6 by something to get the same number, okay? So our LCD is 24. All right, we're gonna do the same thing, but for 3/4 and 2/5, okay? So 1 times 4 is 4, then we have 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and so on. 5, we would have 5, 10, 15, 20, and so 20 would be my LCD. So now we're going to rewrite these fractions so that they have the same denominator, okay? And then we're going to combine them. So these are being added together. So I can't combine these right now because this one has a denominator of 6 and this one has a denominator of 9. Okay, you've got to have the same denominator in order to add the fractions, right? So I'm first going to find their LCD. So for 6, our multiples are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. I'll list the same ones that we did earlier. For 9, we have 9, 18, and then I can stop because I have my LCD. So my LCD is 18. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna rewrite each fraction to have the same denominator so we can then combine them. Okay, so 6, the way to rewrite it with a common denominator of 18, okay, would be to do, it's the third multiple, so that means 6 times 3 gives us 18. So to rewrite it, the denominator of 18, we had to do times 3. 6 times 3 is 18, right? If I do that to the bottom of the fraction, I have to do it to my numerator, my top of the fraction. So I'd also multiply that by 3. So 1 times 3 would give me 3. So 1/6, multiply everything by 3, we get 3/18. I'm gonna do the same thing, but for 9. So to make 9 become 18, it was our second multiple, so we had to do times 2. And we do that same thing times 2 to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. So now I've rewritten them to have the same common denominator. And now I can combine. So 3 plus 4 is 7 over 18, which can't simplify, so that is our answer.